They can't hear me, man. Please. They can't hear me. What about now? Okay, now I can hear you. Okay, good. All right. So we're going live right about now.
Cool.
So sorry for the entire delay.
No. So do I not have to join Zoom anymore?
No, you don't have to. Just leave the Zoom.
Okay.
So we're going live right about now. Showing. Please stay alert.
I'm alive.
Yeah. So in 5 minutes, I just want more of the audience to join because it was really a bit of a technical glitch. So we're like 15 minutes behind the actual time.
Cool.
Crypto TV Plus. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Cynthia Petian with AWS Mining.
Okay.
I'm Alexia Hefty-Rossier.
I'm Anand Mohan from TechnoBrain.
This is Anu Bardwaj from Women Investing, Women Digital.
And you are watching
You're watching
Crypto TV Plus.
Crypto TV Plus.
Crypto TV Plus.
Crypto TV Plus. Stay tuned.
All right.
Hi, this is Cynthia Petian with AWS Mining.
I'm Alexia Hefty-Rossier.
I'm Anand Mohan from TechnoBrain.
This is Anu Bardwaj from Women Investing, Women Digital.
And you are watching
You're watching
Crypto TV Plus.
Crypto TV Plus.
Crypto TV Plus.
Crypto TV Plus. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Cynthia Petian.
Okay, so
with
I sent you a link.
AWS
Use the
Mining.
last link.
I'm Alexia Hefty-Rossier.
Use the last
I'm Anand
link.
Mohan from TechnoBrain.
This is Anu Bardwaj from Women Investing, Women Digital.
And you are
Oh,
watching
Billy, you're already live, right?
You're watching
Crypto TV Plus.
Crypto TV
Okay,
Plus.
okay. I thought you were not live. That's why I'm sending you the link.
Plus. Stay
Okay,
tuned.
but if you're live, just it's fine. All right. That protocol, I would really use this medium to apologize for having about 52 minutes behind the actual time. We just had some little technical glitch, and that was the reason why. However, the program must go on, or the show must go on, so there is no stopping back. And I would really like that if you're here, you can kindly share the Facebook link which had led you into coming to this program in the first place to other various blockchain community. All right. So with the Facebook link, you can be able to get others who probably missed out. A lot of persons didn't know that it was actually that the links will be changed. Actually, it's not really their fault. So with that, I would like to encourage each and every one of us that are present here to kindly please share the various Facebook link which had brought us here. With that way, we'll be able to get maximum participation. And without wasting much of our time, I will be introducing members of the Standard Protocol team. Of course, myself, I'm a member already. So I'll go on to introduce Billy and then Marsh. Earlier in the day, 1 p.m. Kenyan time, we had the first round, and this is the second round. It's already, I think, in Nigeria. The time is already pretty midnight, so you can imagine what we had to go through to ensure that this program goes on live today. So, and for those of us who are in other parts of the world, whether you're in France, whether you are in Nairobi, any part of Africa where you are, this is another opportunity for us to discuss or talk about what Standard Protocol is all about. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, don't mind me as I'm trying to also take a bit of time. It's just that I just want to give a few persons the opportunity for them to come. So with that, I would introduce the whole program. So this is the second round of Standard Protocol. AMA. Tomorrow, in fact, it's already today in some other part of the world. So tomorrow being the 29th of April, 1 UTC, the IDO of Standard Protocol will go live. And what it means is officially the entire public will have a chance to participate fully into the IDO of Standard Protocol. Our goal is to help that Standard Protocol get that level of recognition, that level of awareness that is expected or required of them within the global presence, especially for the people in Africa. And that's what this AM is all about. However, those of us who stay to the end of the program will stand a chance to win $100 each for 10 lucky persons in the program. So please stay tuned to the end, and you stand a chance of winning $100 for 10 lucky people. And at this point, I would like to introduce the various speakers who will be speaking. I know Karen is unavoidably absent because of the ID that will be ongoing. So please, I would like to introduce Billy first. All right, Billy, over to you. Your introduction.
Hello, my name is Billy, and I'm the lead developer of Standard Protocol. So I'm in charge of all the products that Standard Protocol builds and their designs and all the codes and all that stuff. Nice to meet you guys.
Okay, Marsh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, I would like you to do introduction of yourself to the Nigerian community or to the African community for the second round. I think we had a very fire-packed first round earlier in the day around 1 p.m. Kenyan time or East African time. And this is the second round, of course, as you know. So I would like you to introduce yourself, your title, what you do for Standard Protocol, because the people really want to know in case for those of them that missed the first round.
Absolutely. Hey, it's good to engage with you guys again. I'm really excited to be here. Second time. You guys are fire in the first round. So my name is March Saint, and I'm the Global Communications Director for Standard. It is my job to engage our communities and KOLs worldwide and to make sure that the Standard word, if you will, is spread and what we're trying to do as a project.
Nice. That's great, and I love that. Okay, so I don't know if there's any other person who joined us later on the call. Tony, if Tony's not here, I think I will just proceed with the rest of the question. Or is there any other guest speaker with us apart from Billy and Marsh?
Today.
I do not think so.
Okay, good. So that makes it super quick for us, since we have just the two of you and myself holding this particular session. All right. So what is Standard Protocol? For the very first time, ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining us right now, this is Standard Protocol AMA for the African community, and this is the second round of it. We had a very fire-packed first round earlier in the day with hundreds of people who streamed at that particular point in time. And this is the second round of it. Wait till the end of the program. Be able to get your first lucky chance of getting $100 watts in Standard Protocol. Now, for the very first time in the history of the ecosystem, we're seeing three token model, or we're seeing a project utilizing up to 3 different tokens within one project. That for us is a game changer. That for us is like firebrand. That for us is like something that we've never seen before in the industry. So why 3 token models? My question would be, why 3 token models, and why Standard Protocol? So Billy, can you go first?
Yep, let me go first. So Standard Protocol has 3 tokens. They're called Meter, Leader, and Standard. So Meter is the stable coin that we offer, and it is the coin that is pegged to the dollar, US dollar. So this coin is the key of our protocol. This is basically a collateralized rebasable stablecoin. So we take collaterals and then we mint this token out. So this can be used as a medium of exchange, or this can be used to buy other stuff and do many things with it, just like dollar would do. That's what we aim for. Now, Leader is our liquidity provider token. So when you provide liquidity, you will get Leader. So this is just like the token on Uniswap, where if you provide liquidity, they give you the token, which represents that you have a share of, you own a share of the liquidity pool, right? So now the last token is Standard token. This is the governance token. This is used to determine everything about Standard, the collateral ratio, the stability fee, all these things that we have, like Oracle providers and validators. Standard token is what users can use to determine all these. Now, as in, why do we have 3 tokens? So, well, first, Meter is obviously it has to be an independent token because it's the stablecoin. Now, some people would ask, why did you have to separate the liquidity pool token and the governance token? Now, the reason is that Standard Protocol uses automated market makers to liquidate the collaterals. So this is unlike normal collateral asset-backed stablecoin like DAO, MakerDAO, which they use auctions. Now, I believe we'll explain this later on, so I'll stop here. But that is why we have 3 tokens. So we have one for stablecoin, one for liquidity, and one for governance. And the liquidity and governance is separated for the purpose of better and fairer liquidation process of collaterals.
For people that are just joining us, like you all know, this is the first time we're seeing a 3-token model system. And for short, what I now call Standard Protocol, I call them the Major League Soccer, MLS, M for middle, L for liter, and S for the Standard Protocol. MLS is just simply nothing but the US Major League Soccer of that nature. Okay, to Marsh, the question is, why will anybody want to use Standard Protocol, knowing fully well that you guys have 3 token models and being separated for the liquidity, the stable coin, and of course the governance, which is Standard itself? Why will anybody want to use it?
So obviously we are tackling quite a competitive market in terms of the DeFi spectrum, but I think the key to emphasize here is we want to ultimately create this bridge between DeFi and CeFi, and that's where the power of the 3-token module system comes in from both the regulatory and technical standpoint. So for example, DeFi, CeFi, that bridge, let's just say in the future, Standard partners with any perhaps traditional institutions in, say, Korea, China, right? Then they're in the different module system of our tokens, maybe a specific token can work better than the other in terms of dealing with this DeFi, CeFi bridge. That's kind of how we envision as like the ultimate comparative advantage that Standard has over any other potential token.
Oh, nice. That's quite good, and I think I like the fact that certain the models you guys are trying to apply. So one important thing we want to know is who's behind it. How did you guys come about this entire design? You know, I read a bit about Khan, who happens to be a founder, and some other, of course, interesting guys like yourself, and that have really done some great work. I want to know a bit about you guys' background from the perspective of the industry. What's your background? But especially the founder, the team members, these are the things I really want to know. Of course, I know my people within the African community will really want to know about this. Billy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think March would better explain this.
Very strong technical team localized in South Korea. And perhaps we might have the best substrate development team there that exists in South Korea. But most importantly, tech is the foundation. But we have, a globalized community across the globe. I think we have a lot of power advantage in China, just in terms of pure community. And that's why we're so excited right now to be working with the African community through Mr. DeFi, such as you. So, we think a team is really important to help create that bridge between DeFi and CeFi, because it's not all just about the on-chain metrics at that point. You have to engage in many spectrums of perhaps like business, and I think our team is very well equipped to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
To add on to that.
Okay.
So our CTO Kang used to work at a company called Terraforms Labs. It's the company that built Luna. You probably heard of it. It's one of the 25 top Bitcoins with, biggest market cap. Cryptocurrency available out there. And he used to work there. And one day he figured out that Luna has pre-mined their tokens, and they use that to control their price. And he just thought that was wrong. And he thought maybe I should build something better. and that's why he came up with all the ideas that were incorporated into standard protocol and started collecting people, and he built this up.
Cool, pretty good. So, of course, even from the perspective of Luna and Terra, we know that Luna and Terra are pretty much a good project as well. So, if Khan is coming from the perspective where he was even part of such a great such project, it means we expecting nothing short of something massive within this particular project. Now, again, how can people, because when you started your introduction earlier, when you would try to talk about the three token models being used by standard protocol for the stable coin, the farming coin, or the coin for liquidity, and of course the governance token. When we talk about how can Africans, how can our people be able to provide this level of liquidity? That's one. Like, what are they meant to do before they can provide this liquidity? What are they meant to do before they can be part of this governance system? And these I want you to throw light on.
So to be part of standard protocol is basically really easy to use. So in order to use the meter coin, which is the stable coin, all you have to do is just post collateral. And when you post collateral, we will give you our stable coin proportionate to the collateral you provide. Now, leader and standard, there are many ways to earn leader and standard, but leader can only be earned when you provide liquidity. So that's the only way you can earn leader. But if you provide leader, you'll be rewarded with standard. So you'll be rewarded with governance coin. So when you provide liquidity, you get leader. And when you can again provide the leader that you got to get governance token. And once you do that, you'll be able to actively participate in standards governance and hopefully contribute to standard protocol.
Okay, so again, for those of you that are joining this particular live AMA, this is the second round of standard protocol for the African market. Tomorrow being the 29th of April, the IDO for standard protocol will all go live, and that would be like fire packed. Everybody have been asking me, hey, Lucky, how can we participate in this IDO? I know already there is already a listing pattern that have been carried out by Polkadot for the IDO. Can Africans still have the chance of participating in this? I really want that we don't miss out, because there's this news, a rumor that we likely will be seeing somewhere around 10x, 20x of that. And nobody want to miss out 20x or 10x project.
Yeah, I mean, we have to be fair, unfortunately, in this whole entire process, right? And it's sad that we had to engage you so late and everything. But rest assured, most of our partners and communities are engaging with us for the long term, and obviously ourselves, right? We are in this project for the long term, and we will be listing on more exchanges as the IDO rolls out. So definitely be on the lookout for the announcement. Then we can't really confirm, of course, publicly till that it's officially broadcasted through our channels. But there's definitely ways for communities to engage, and most importantly, once the liquidity and everything stabilizes on the exchange, we're really excited to start releasing our products for users to actually utilize. And then, that brings us one step closer to creating that ultimate bridge between DeFi and CeFi, users on both ends of the application. So that's kind of the timeline we're envisioning for participation. Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. So, Billy, you want to add something to that before I go on to my next question?
No, you can go ahead to your next question.
Okay, good. So I think I like the fact that there's plans for getting the African market into this whole mix, because I couldn't have fathomed for myself that a project like yours, for the first time introducing 3 token model system into the entire space. And we've moved from seeing Bitcoin as just the only cryptocurrencies to other kind of major cryptocurrencies. Now building things on both layer 2s and the rest of them. I couldn't have fathomed that for some reason a 3-token model system would be launched in this entire ecosystem, and Africa would have missed out from the perspective of either not having this opportunity of some sort of an AMA or but thanks, or at least we did get the chance, and we're not left out. We're almost like starting on the same point in time. But from the ideal perspective, actually, because I know why everybody just wants to have a shot on the ideal for the fact that it's almost some sort of it gives one the confidence that something great will come out from even holding the token. Now, I read the white paper for standard protocol where I saw validators, all right, and liquidity provider of 8:2, something of that nature. Can you throw light on that particular concept? Let's see about.
Okay, so standard protocol, there are two core jobs that I guess the community can take, and one is validator and one is provider. Now, validator is just the same thing as normal validators. Now, standard protocols, Oracle provider works in a little different way because it has its unique mechanisms. So standard protocol is actually the first incentivized dedicated Oracle system in the blockchain industry. So we're building a blockchain just for the Oracle to have it more efficiently working. Now, if you become the Oracle provider, which submits the price data from off-chain to our standard protocols network, you'll be rewarded with the interest from loans collected you'll be rewarded from the you'll be rewarded by the governance tokens that is provided in each era, which is like the span of time that every standard protocol rebases.
Oh, interesting. So for most persons, it's more like either you're a validator, helping to ensure that the entire process is transparent and safe. Because in the first time when we were having this conversation earlier in the day, especially for the East African time, we found out that validators need to provide some sort of KYC. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So for an average person who really wants to become a validator, apart from providing KYC, is there some sort of minimum amount of token he needs to have or put into the entire ecosystem that will enable him stand out as validator? Or is it that once you hold at least a minimum of one standard token, you become a validator automatically, so long as you're willing to share your KYC?
So in order to become a standard provider, you would have to go to election. So the community will vote and elect you. So this election is done by something called fragment algorithm, which is the same as Polkadot's validator algorithm. So it's been proven to work. The same thing works for Oracle provider too. If you want to become an Oracle provider, you have to reveal your identity and you have to be elected. Now you can stake your token to get your voting rights, but it will really depend on the community to put the support on you to become a validator and provider.
Okay. So to the people who are actually listening, especially from the African communities, it means we also stand a chance to become a validator so long as you're willing to share your information to become a transparent validator. And the essence of this for the listeners out there is that we want to know who is validating what, and if you choose to become a bad actor, we know who these bad actors are. And now coming back to the entire project, and for what Startup Protocol will be for Africa, I want to know, like, what will Africa do to really take or maximize the best of the value of products which Standard Protocol will offer? What is in it that you guys have for Africa at the end of the day?
I truthfully think we have to go back to that DeFi CeFi bridge, right? Obviously, since the team is more on the ground in China and Korea, we want to find more traditional institutions where we can perhaps link, our blockchain project with like the traditional side, and you're seeing more and more of that in the real world. And obviously, we think that infrastructure means a lot of opportunity that's possible in all of Africa. And we're lucky we're lucky to have you. Lucky to can maybe down the road explain to us what that can look like, right?
Interesting.
That bridge. But that is definitely in the pipeline. But first and foremost, we just want to roll out our entire suite of products on the DeFi end, our 3-token system, and start having the communities really utilize the protocols, right? Earn some money with it, right? Spend it, speculate, whatever, right? Just the whole entire DeFi experience. So that's kind of how we envision the whole entire process, is full-on community engagement, and then eventually any form of linkages with African-based like traditional institutions and infrastructure, which we're gonna have to learn more about, but perhaps that's the opportunity.
Oh, nice. That's good. So, like I said, because I know the most exciting part is IDO is happening barely a few hours away. It's already new day in China. And for us, we're rounding off our day soon. My take will be for us to jump into the questions where the community will have a chance to also ask the necessary questions so that we can at least rest before the IDO will come in. Personally, I would like where if there is a direct slot right now that would have made it possible for us to contribute our own few pennies or dollars to ensure that we get something out of the IDO, especially the IDO price. Okay, but that aside, we'll jump straight into the questions that the people would be asking us, because I know some couple of questions already on Facebook where a couple of persons are already streaming live. I'm seeing a lot of conversation building up there. But before we go there, is there a mechanism in place to ensure that standard protocol have come to stay for a long time? There's always this concern around rug pull, exit scam, hacking, and all this kind of stuff. Is there a mechanism in place to ensure that standard protocol have come to stay for a long time?
So I guess I can start with the, go ahead, March.
Yeah, for how we're going to stay here for the long term is that we're going to have the most technically sound project, right? We're going to survive any kind of potential. You see it all in DeFi, the hacks and whatever. We're going to have a full-on security team to make sure that's all working. So that's on the on-chain side, how we're going to protect ourselves. On the CeFi side, the bridge is we're going to make sure we're retaining full-on regulatory clarity anytime we're engaging with these institutions, right? Because I think that's going to probably be the most powerful advantage going forward in crypto. Is who's going to have the most real clarity legally on the ground, and that would just obviously inherently help the blockchain side. That's how I see it for the long term.
Nice. Okay, so Billy, you want to say something as well?
Yeah, so maybe many people are afraid of hackings and stuff, but aside from what March said, yes, we'll definitely focus on security and having our codes audited and all that stuff. But if you're talking about security on Polkadot ecosystem, it's pretty secure because the Polkadot ecosystem has a shared security module, first of all. And then on our standard protocol side, in order for our price to be hacked, you need to hack into our Oracle system, but it's got good safety measures in place that will act as safeguards to those malicious intents. So I am pretty confident that we won't be susceptible to hacks or any kind.
Oh, nice. It's nice. Okay, so I'll jump straight into the questions, and I would allow you guys to answer. So I'm going straight to Facebook to get a couple of the questions, and I'll just put it out there. I know you guys might probably not follow up the questions, so we'll just take it one bit at a time. Some persons actually already have been asking some questions. Somebody called Evasonic Moa said something. Do you ever have any plans of doing any of your upcoming projects on Solana blockchain, since it's cheaper fees in terms of transaction fee, I guess, and Solana is here as well. People are complaining about the high transaction fee already on most blockchains, be it whether Bitcoin transactions or the Ethereum blockchain transactions. I guess Evasonic's question is around if you will be doing the project of standard token across other blockchain beyond where it's currently are? Because I know it's already in Polkadot, right?
Yes, definitely. So our goal is to be chain agnostic. So in the end, we're trying to bridge many coins, many networks, and have standard operating in many of the networks. So we're not just planning to launch on Polkadot. We'll launch on Polkadot and we'll move on to different chains like BSC, and more are to be decided, but we're definitely going to build on other networks and offer the interoperability of standard protocol and utilize and take advantage. Yep.
Oh, interesting. So, because again, the essence of this question session is to give the people the chance to ask these direct questions to the team behind Standard Protocol, knowing fully well that Standard Protocol have come to stay, and this is a global solution for a lot of market, not just the African market, but market outside Africa. The first question which I asked from Eversonic happens to be my first lucky pick for the day, and I think he'll like automatically become the first winner for $100 worth in standard token. And I hope Eversonic you keep them and you don't sell them as soon as possible. You hold them as much as you can. So I'll be taking another question, which I think is vital and is a bit focused around team. All right. So somebody called Silvershine said, how long have you been working on the project and how many people are on the team? Of course, people want to know how long and how many people are on the team.
So Khan has been in crypto for the last 2-3 years. Mentioned he was part of Terra, but the project has been in inception since around February, and it's been full on engagement since March. But most of the team has been in the space since at least 2016, 2017. So we've all basically been through that bear market. We know what it needs to be done to stay competitive, right? And our core team right now, I would say, is probably around 12. Tech team around 3 to 4 or 5. Marketing, right, is the other half, and then we're still going to keep expanding from there.
Oh, that's quite nice. So, if someone were now this is not even necessarily from a question of anybody who have posted it that I can see, but what is the difference between what is the synthetic rebasable mechanism there? Like, I really want you to explain when standard protocol is being defined as synthetic rebasable token. What is it? Like when this is synthetic and rebasable?
Okay, so I think there's some misconception here, but the thing is, standard is a collateralized rebasable coin, which means it takes collaterals, and it's a rebasable stablecoin. So it's a collateralized stablecoin that rebases. Now, the synthetic part is that we're going to be supporting synthetic assets. So we're going to be supporting stocks like Google's, Microsoft, Apple. One of the we'll be picking few, and we'll start from the few and extend out. But we'll definitely be supporting synthetic assets. That's why we have the word synthetic there. Now, if you want to know about rebase, the rebase is just it's in addition to the collateral, which acts as our safeguard. It's also better to have a rebase mechanism, which will, again, act as a safeguard to maintain the peg. So rebase mechanism is based on the quantitative money theory. So if there's more money out in the market, the price will rise. If there's less money in the market, the prices will go down. So we just basically apply that principle to our stablecoin's total supply so that we're able to better maintain the peg to the US dollar.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we've picked like 2 lucky questions from the entire audience, and I'll pick a bit of third one, then I'll go to YouTube and also get some so that nobody is left behind. So I want to pick a question from somebody called like Jasmine Jade. I don't know if that's the name, but however, the name I can see on Facebook is like Jasmine Jade. So what are the most rewarding milestones in standard protocol roadmap? Because I did look at paper of Standard Protocol. I see they already roadmap based on various quarter, Q1, Q2, Q3, and all that. So what are the most, this person is asking, what is the most rewarding, all right, milestone of Standard Protocol roadmap?
Well, I guess that would really depend on what the word rewarding means, but in terms of
but
I mean, in terms of technical side, if you're talking about rewarding, that'll be when we have our app running on Kusama parachain. So that's when we're going to be having our app launched on the testnet, so we can ship our product and see how it goes. And I think that'll be the most rewarding part of this project for me and the tech team, to see our product out there and actually see people engage with our product and make something out of it.
Okay, that's quite interesting. So now, what's the advantage of a crypto synthetic asset over traditional derivative or traditional financial? Well, I'm not giving a reward to this person because I think he's the pick, but his question seems quite interesting in terms of what are the advantages of crypto synthetic asset? Because Standard Protocol is seen as a synthetic kind of product, is it?
Yeah, I guess broadly speaking, well, you already see it with FTX, right? They're able to create a more legal-based, broader market for, even like tokenized shares and equities of Tesla, Binance, or not Binance, Tesla, Coin, right? All of that. I think that is probably the main advantage that synthetic assets do, is that you can make it on chain and then essentially place the asset in more different forms of, I guess, thresholds or like liquidity channels. And more obviously, there are use cases that emerge out of DeFi, and that basically just applies to what digital synthetic assets are in that regard. So that's what I think are the greatest advantages, that it becomes on chain, and then it can be formed into more thresholds for different kinds of work, besides just traditional, I guess, equities and shares, which are probably just restricted to one market usually.
Okay,
and if I am to add to that, so this having synthetic, so synthetic assets will introduce leverage trading into stocks. So right now, if you, let's say, hold Apple stock and you want to buy Google stock because you think Google will appreciate too, you would have to sell the Apple stock to get the Google stock, right? Because if you don't have the money. But what Standard Protocol will allow you to do is put Apple stock as collateral and buy the Google stock. Now, when you pay back the loan, which you got from posting Apple stock as collateral, you'll get your Apple stock back too. So in the end, if you think Apple stock will rise and Google stock will rise, you don't have to sell any. But by utilizing synthetic assets, you can still own the Apple stock and at the same time invest in Google stock too. Yeah. I think that's a key benefit.
Okay, so somebody called Cure Caleb, he's asking a question. He said, what are the competitive advantage of your project? What's the competitive advantage of your project? This question is a bit closer to more like what makes you stand out, something of that nature. What makes you stand out? What are the competitive advantage of your project? What advantage do you have that other competitors probably don't even have in terms of either scalability, security features, and adaptability?
Okay, so if you refer to competitive advantage, you're probably referring to MakerDAO and other stablecoins that are out there. Now, the first great advantage that we have is the Oracle system. So we are, as I said, the only properly incentivized dedicated Oracle system. So right now, let's say for Chainlink, the user will pay the Oracle provider with Link, and the Oracle provider would be rewarded from the user too. And they would also have to put a transaction fee to submit their data. Now, in our Oracle system, there would be no transaction fee for the Oracle providers. And what this allows is that this prevents events like the Black Thursday that happened to MakerDAO. So what happened on Black Thursday for MakerDAO is that when when the
Mhm.
ETH price very
Go on.
fast, the transaction fee went really high, and the MakerDAO's Oracle was not able to submit the Oracle price. Now that made discrepancy in the on-chain price and off-chain price of DAO, and that caused many DAI to be liquidated at a very cheap price. Now our Oracle system, it's a dedicated Oracle system without transaction fees, so we are preventing something like that from happening. And another great advantage is that for collateral liquidation, so when users' collateral goes below a certain threshold, the collateral is to be liquidated because it's obviously depreciating. And so in MakerDAO uses something called auctions, where only few of the selected people, like not selected, but only the maker, so the governance token holders can participate. And they also need to run a script on it. Now, in standard protocol, the liquidated collaterals are just thrown into the liquidity pools. So that will create arbitrage, and anybody with Meter or stablecoin can participate. So those two are the great advantages, because it allows fairer and more equal liquidation as well. Because auctions are for people only those who know how to do it, and this would lead to plutocracy in the system, where the richer just gets richer.
Abdulaziz Sherez, do you have plans to attract non-crypto players or investors, if you want to put it in that way, to your project? All right, we have a lot of people who are crypto enthusiasts or crypto savvy, or who are interested in crypto, but there are other people who are not in crypto right now. Do you guys have plans to attract those people? Because the person is saying the success of a project to get more investors who are still not in the crypto world. What are the plans to increase their awareness around your non-crypto space? Do you have plans, something like that?
Sorry, could you repeat the question again? My bad.
Okay, I said a question from somebody called Abdulaziz. A question from somebody called Abdulaziz Sherez. His question is, do you have any plan to attract non-crypto players or investors to your project? Because it is the success of a project. Because actually the success of a project a bit depend on also getting more future non-players. So what are your plans? What's the plan of Standard Protocol to get more people who are not necessarily into crypto to become part of crypto? Like it's like a future plan for getting new non-crypto players into crypto. What are your plans? Do you have plans for that?
I think we still need to fully form out the groundworks for that. But one thing, like I've mentioned many times in this interview today, is that we're definitely going to bridge the DeFi CeFi interaction, right? And that basically entails on the DeFi part, how do we get users to interact with DeFi assets without them even realizing it? So I guess that's going to really come down to some of the DeFi institutions that we choose to work with, figuring out how to do it. But that's definitely in the groundworks. I believe every DeFi project is really working towards this goal.
Yeah, and we also have a partnership upcoming with a bank in Korea. It's called the Jinko Bank. So it's the only Korea's only bank that is registered to do bank work and at the same time exchange work. So that will also, the partnership will really help us connect the CeFi and DeFi.
Oh, interesting. So that makes it even more quite fascinating, for the fact that you want to, or your plans, it's to connect both the CeFi and DeFi world together. So if I also want to ask, like, do you have plans for the African community long term? How do you intend to attract, of course, this is a question I think from Victoria Ejimogo. Her question is like, what are your plans for Africa long term? Because I know before now there is some sort of good level of awareness in other parts of the world before we got this opportunity to get to do this AMA. Do you have long-term plans, or will it be after the IDO, no more Africa in the picture, or what? Do you have long-term plans from Africa? That's a question from actually Victoria.
Yeah, we definitely do. I think most of the value in engaging the African community is going to come right as we, just continue developing our suite of products. Because, like mentioned, we want you guys to interact with it and have a good UX experience with it, and of course, trade our coin, learn how to use it, right? Make some money out of it. In fact, we have that. However, we want to engage, that's how we want to engage the African community as well. Because at the end of the day, crypto is the worldwide thing. So I guess it's probably in line with that thesis.
Okay, so now to my audience that are actually out there, I'm just coming straight back to the YouTube channel to get some piece of questions from here, so it won't be like on Facebook all through the why. I think so far we've been able to ask them about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 6 questions from Facebook. I didn't know it went that far. Okay, so but however, I'm coming here and I'm seeing some couple of questions on YouTube. Somebody from named Brian Yambani. Okay, so Brian Yambani is asking, what will be the transaction fees like compared to other blockchains which are so high? Should we expect some sort of low transaction fee? What are some of the companies you're planning to cooperate and work with since you're new in the market? Like it's like a 3-in-1 question, of course, but it's almost like back to back from the same person. Brian wants to know, what are your plans for low transaction fee? Are we going to expect low transaction fee when we utilize standard protocol, unlike some other projects that will come out with a promise of low transaction fee, but at the end of the day, it's not the case? So are we meant to expect that? And what companies are you planning to work with since you're already new in the market? So this is a question from somebody called Brian Nyambani.
Yeah, I think that's why we're got the Web 3.0 grant, because Polkadot is clearly the number 2 competitive in terms of network effect and obviously the scaling, right? So people should expect a pretty seamless low transaction fee if we're interacting with that part of the ecosystem. And as mentioned a few times in the call already, we already have a working partnership with the bank in Korea. And, like I mentioned, right, the DeFi C5 bridge, we will be releasing these announcements whenever it's deemed legally capable in the coming weeks on our communication channels. It's definitely the works.
And to add to that,
Okay,
we will definitely try our best to do whatever's the best for users. So we're actually having partnership with many different companies, including ListenTree, Patract, Bridge Mutual, Plasm. These are pretty good names in the industry. So, for example, ListenTree is a cross-chain aggregated, decentralized identities platform, which allows the network to identify user based on the wallet addresses. Now, using that, we are able to incentivize users. So if you have been using standard protocol for a long time and you've been active on it and you've been making good use of it, then we can incentivize you maybe with lower transaction fee than normal users, with more generous collateral ratio on collaterals that you post, and maybe more incentives to come. But yeah, we definitely are planning many great things for user experience too.
Yep.
Oh, I like that. So I like that. So one important question I think I like this question. It's a bit good. His name is Yusuf Ogunyanju. Yusuf Ogunyanju trying to ask, how is Standard Protocol going to close the gap between the 3 key components of DeFi? So for him, he's seeing the 3 key components of DeFi as protocol, interoperability, scalability, low latency, and security. So how is Standard Protocol going to close this gap? He wants to see where things around protocol interoperability, where Standard Protocol can be backed with, of course, with other protocols. How scalable is it? All right, and low latency and security. How are you guys trying to close this gap? That's from Yusuf Ogunyaju.
Yeah, so I think we have all measures in place to secure all those. So in terms of, let's start with interoperability. So interoperability, we have great interoperability because we are basically taking collateral. So if people want to mint stablecoin, they would have to post a collateral, and there'd be a variety of crypto assets that we'll be taking in as collateral. And at the same time, you'll be able to provide liquidity on our platform with different cryptocurrencies and earn our governance token. So all this together just adds interoperability to the system. Now, with the and then with the scalability part, and to add on to interoperability at the same time, we're as I mentioned, we're trying to be chain agnostic, so we're trying to build on different chains like BSC, VM. So at that point, like the interoperability wouldn't be a problem for standard protocol at all. Now, if I'm to move on to the next, I'll start with security. And so as I mentioned, security is tight on Polkadot. And at the same time, we have very good safety safeguards that will make sure that our oracles and validators work as intended. And this will also be community will take significant part of it. So, and we really depend on the community to make good decisions. So we are definitely at the same time with the safeguards in the system, we're also trying to come up with various educational materials for the community so that they can learn and make good decisions on governing standard protocol.
Oh, interesting.
Now, in terms of
ladies and okay.
Oh, sure.
Go on, please. Go on. Sorry for cussing.
Yeah, and scalability is no problem. Yeah, scalability is no problem because Polkadot will be able to handle very well. And we're also, as I said, planning to go on many chains and bridge many chains. So we'll have the capacity to scale up and provide our protocol to people in different networks and many other people, like all over the world.
Oh, nice. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, in case you're just joining us, this is the second round of the quest of the AMA by Standard Protocol for the African Community. If you are just joining in live at this point in time, this viewership is brought to you courtesy or proudly Crypto Television Plus. Crypto Television Plus have been the leading African brand for blockchain-related content and news. They became the first and only African television where we have everything that gets to talk about blockchain. So if you're new or you've not heard about Crypto Television Plus, so once you go on Twitter, you can follow Crypto Television Plus as Crypto TV Plus. All right, and same as well on their website. Very soon, something big is coming out from Crypto Television Plus, especially the Airnaton. And I encourage each and every one of us that are here to please try and follow Crypto Television Plus because they have quite a lot of content that will enable us to do quite a lot of things. So Tony and Mecca have really been great in terms of the support they've given to us within the African communities around blockchain, and I would really use this medium to appreciate them. Of course, I'm always available on Twitter at LUO2027, on LinkedIn, Lucky Owakwe, and of course, you can follow Standard Protocol and get more information around what will be happening tomorrow during the IDO by following Standard Protocol at Standard DeFi. So once you type Standard DeFi, you get that already. I mentioned my Twitter handle as Luo2027 or LEO2027. So thanks to Crypto Television Plus for the opportunity. I'll be jumping back right into the questions, but so far, it's been an engaging session. I also want to use the opportunity to tell each and every one of us that in the first session, the East African time zone about 4 hours ago, we have this conversation around opening or starting up a Telegram community for Standard Protocol Africa. This way we are able to follow the progress report or activities of things that are happening around Standard Protocol. I think quite a lot of persons might be asking, quite a lot of person might be asking questions on how can they help to promote things around Standard Protocol. Can they be a marketer? Can they be an ambassador? Something of that nature, or somebody who will help to talk about the project itself within the local community. I think with the Telegram group, Africa for Standard Protocol, we will be able to discuss or get to know about it. Sometimes I hope, of course, the momentum will continue to build up, and not during crypto winter will go a bit cold, because sometimes we have that kind of situations within crypto. However, to all of our listeners out there, especially from the African community, tomorrow, 1 UTC, I will allow Marsh to talk the exact time, right? Tomorrow being 29th April, what time, Marsh, is the IDO taking place?
+8. Afternoon. Yep. So,
What time?
1 p.m.
1
UTC.
p.m. UTC.
Okay, so 1 p.m. UTC on the 29th of April. I know for those of us in China, it's already a new day, all right? It's today. Why for those of us in Africa, we're still calling tomorrow. So on 29th of April, all right, 1 p.m. UTC, everybody who want to participate in the IDO stand a chance to do that, especially for those who already have been shortlisted on via the Polka startup platform. While for those who have not really gotten the opportunity through the African community that will be created, of course, we also stand a chance to continue to have access to these tokens, continue to see opportunity of how we leverage on the product or service Standard Protocol is offering us. Remember, I said this is proudly brought to you by Crypto TV Plus, and the website is also cryptotvplus.com. And thanks to all the team members behind the scene that we couldn't all mention their name earlier. We're having to do quite a lot of things there. So I really, really appreciate that. So to call it a wrap as soon as possible, because I know it's pretty late for you guys, I'll be picking one more question from the YouTube platform. But so far, let me take a rundown of the persons whose questions I picked from various platforms. From Facebook, I was able to pick somebody called Moazi Vasonic. I was able to pick Silverline Shine. I was able to pick Jasmine Olaik Jade. I was able to pick Kure Caleb. I was able to pick Shiraz Abdulaziz. I was able to pick Brian Nyambani. I was able to pick Yusuf Ogun Yadrin. So coming to, again, on the YouTube platform, some persons actually asked some interesting questions, which I just want to pick. So somebody called, what's his name? Somebody called, let me just look for that question. I did see the question. So I did see the question, and it was really interesting. I just wanted to pick it up. But if I can't find it, fine. I could just pick J. Emeka with over 60,000 community members. But actually, this is not the question I really want to pick, because, okay, fine, let me just pick it since I've started reading it. J. Emeka Official said, with over 60,000 community members both on Twitter and Telegram, what future development are Standard Protocols to keep the huge community holding and using the stable coin on a daily basis? So the person's concern is coming from Standard Protocol have 3 tokens. One of them is stable coin. What kind of future commitment are you trying to put in place to ensure people utilize the stable coin, which is, of course, Ether? So what measures are you putting in place for this?
So within our ecosystem, right, it's going to be very similar to how, right, Maker Mints die. You do it with collateral, and people are going to be incentivized to do that because it can facilitate more, perhaps, DeFi use cases, such as generating more synthetic assets for leverage, using it to perhaps stake, and using it perhaps to LPing. But most importantly, in my opinion, is that stable coin can represent some kind of regulatory clarity, because usually collateral minted coins, there's real value behind it that pegs it to its value, right? Instead of just maybe a word of mouth or whatever, right? So I think eventually, as you mentioned, we want to work with these partners. Like on the traditional side, you got to have a stable coin that is backed in legal and fundamental clarity. So that's kind of how I see it personally. Yeah.
I think quite an interesting one. So probably I'll go back a bit to the Facebook. I did see some few questions, but I felt they were a bit from the perspective of the various people out there. So again, somebody's also asking from Facebook. Somebody's also asking from Facebook. I think, I don't know if this has been touched before now. The person name is Enduta Prep. So if there are hacks, the person's name is Pep Enduta. If there are hacks at all for some reason, what are the measures to help compensate these hackers? It's a question bordering around hack. I know Billy was talking something around some measures before now to ensure hack don't happen. So what if it ever happens? We never saw that MakerDAO was going to be hacked, but at one point in time it was tampered. So if we have that kind of situation, what measures?
Yeah, so
are we doing? So is there some sort of insurance? Is there some sort of
Maker actually
becoming necessary? Actually, yes.
I don't think people realize that Maker wasn't really hacked. It was just its collateral peg broke because of overselling of its collateral asset, which is ETH, right? Which was ETH. It's still ETH. So if you're asking how we can protect against hacks, hello? Hello? Yeah. The best way to do it is you kind of need to avoid flash loans because 90% of all DeFi hacks are because of that. You know, if we just create everything within our own ecosystem, it should be much, much safer. It's really when you're lending against other protocols that can potentially become a problem. Yeah.
It's really good enough
to
give the people who... Okay, go on.
Oh yeah, sorry for the interruption. In addition, we have this mechanism called emergency shutdown. So if our peg is to be broken, it's probably from the fact that the Oracle price submission is wrong. That's the only way our peg can really be ruined. Now, when the Oracle price submission is going to, like, it's really off, then we're first, before we push that Oracle price, we're going to implement an emergency shutdown to verify that the price is really the price at the actual price. So we have that mechanism in place, which will prevent us from having an event like MakerDAO on like Black Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, quite an interesting one. Okay, so so far I think we've really taken quite a good measures in place in terms of asking some of the right questions for the entire community around the things that we think are very necessary, and we'll be calling to wrap soon. To all our audience out there just joining us, this is the second round of AMA for Standard Protocol across the country. Billy, Marsh, it's really a pleasure to really have you guys talk to us about what you guys are really doing. Of course, to all the African community, I'm telling you that, hey, I am part of Standard Protocol. So for me to be part of it, it means it's really worth it at the end of the day for each and every one of you out there. I think it's really quite an innovative product. There are quite other good products out there, of course, but Standard Protocol, for the fact that they put in a lot of measures in place to ensure we move to the next level in the entire industry. For the entire industry, this is a game changer. For the entire industry, this is quite new. And it's important that each and every one of us become or take part in this particular process. I wish if I could hear Crypto Television Plus, I would have loved to give them the last right to pick the last question, like we did to the last host. Tony, I don't know if it's something you can hear me. I would have loved to give you the last right to pick the last questions from where you are. If you can, I would have loved that you do that, or probably send me a message. So to everybody out there, let me just take us a bit of a summary, especially for those that joined the conversation a bit late. the essence of today's topic is for Standard Protocol to get to familiarize themselves with the African community. The essence of this entire concept is that the world needs to use Standard Protocol because they're building something that we've never seen in the entire industry since the inception of Bitcoin as a concept. All right. Now, we are also seeing that we're seeing three token system that which I have never even seen before in all my knowledge within the industry, which I simply abbreviated as MLS, Major League Soccer, but it's not really Major League Soccer. It's meter, liter, and standard per se. All right. So with that, they're building a rebasable, stable, synthetic, collateralized kind of stable coin, which is like a mix of what we have within DAI and AMCO. All right. That again is really another game changer because we've seen the DAI concept, we've seen the AMCO concept, but having a blend of these two is something I've actually not seen before this time. And this is really great. And we also look forward to future collaborations in terms of how projects in Africa, because sincerely, over time, it has always been some project from the other part of the world coming to Africa. And we hope that at a time when we'll be having some other African project. And this is a good shout out to Zen Finance, which is also building something in DeFi. All right, quite a good one from the African community by Zen Finance, Ugochukwu himself. Okay, so we also look forward that when time comes when some other African project we need to partner with people within the other end of the globe, whether in China, South Korea, that Standard Protocol will also be willing to collaborate to have this unionism. I would really, really love that, irrespective of whether I'm behind it or irrespective of somebody else is behind it. All right. So I really like the fact that you guys are doing some great work. And I would also like to use the opportunity to ask one last question. I know I did ask this question for the AMA in East African time. For the developers or programmers that are out there, are currently joining or watching this program out there, there are opportunities for you right now with this Standard Protocol. And I remember one of the things earlier that we were told is that if you're a developer, probably begin to build your GitHub. It's from your GitHub we can begin to see that you can participate. I want where African developers have the chance to also be part of the core team in place. Of course, I'm now part of the Standard Protocol as an African, of course, but I would really want to see more developers from the African world join, not just me alone, because for me, Standard Protocol is something, as the name implies, standard is standard and it's global, all right? So if you're a developer out there, sincerely, Standard Protocol will really want you to become part, to contribute to the entire growth phase, and it's really an open opportunity for you. Or if you know any developer out there that can do something, please do well to reach out to any of the members of Standard Protocol team. I believe if your GitHub is well populated with rework, you can definitely have a chance to be part of the community. This is part of collaborations. And to all the various blockchain community, I would use the opportunity to call out the various African blockchain community. Beacon, for example, happens to be the biggest blockchain consortium right now in Nigerian ecosystem. Whether it is CDIN or whether it is Blockchain Nigeria User Group or whether it is stakeholders in Blockchain Association of Nigeria, whether it is KBA, which is the Kenyan Blockchain Association, or ADAF, or any of the blockchain association within East, West, North, or Southern part of Africa, I would really like to see Standard Protocol collaborate or partner with this. I don't mind showing you guys more ways to which you could collaborate with any of these blockchain associations. They are quite good, they are quite huge, and there are other key opinion leaders as well within the African community. I'm using this opportunity to really thank everybody who have really done great work. Crypto TV, Bitcoin, KE, of course myself. I'm known as the king of DeFi within the African community. My name is all right.
Yeah.
So I would really So I would really like to see more of this collaboration, both within local projects that are coming out of Africa and the ones that want to come into Africa. It's a win-win for everybody at the end of the day. All right. So finally, I will just go and pick one lucky last question from Facebook, and I think if that might work. So far, like I said, I have gotten up to 9 or 10. Let me just be sure so I don't shoot beyond the limit. Moaz Evasonic Silverline Shine, Olik, Jasmine Jade, Kure Caleb, Shiraz Abdulaziz, Brian Nyambani, Yusuf Ogunyaji, JMEC Official, Nduta Pep is the name I see here. These in total is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know. There's a last one, so I'll just go pick one last lucky person. Back to Facebook. I asked that you guys put up the questions earlier so that everybody would just call it adios. Quite a lot of questions. I don't know. It's like I picked a question from Victoria Ajimogo. Oh, I think I didn't add that name. All right, there was a question from Victoria Ajimogo, which was around how will this project benefit Africans? For some reason, I'm just seeing that question again, and I don't think I mentioned the name. So I think that would be a wrap for me. Ajimogo Victoria actually was the last person. I remember picking this question. I wanted to go back and read the question, but I remember I picked it. So unless we want to give the opportunity for us to have 2 more picks, just like we did for the South Korean, I said it's Oliver Twist. Is there hope for us, Billy? 10 is complete.
Yeah.
Is there hope for us for 2 more? Can we go for it?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
Good. We love the enthusiasm.
Oh, nice. So that makes it actually more than 10 people who would be given the opportunity to win $100 each in standard token. I did ask for this opportunity within the East African that made it 13, and I'm just doing same. So I just want to actually ask. It's almost like the people who have asked a lot of the questions are actually repeating that. Okay, so whoa, quite a lot of questions a bit repeated. I wanted to read something from Ivy Encryption, but the person happened to be. So now somebody wants to know, how can we partake in the governance? Mary Jane Njoku says, how can we partake in the governance of this project? How do Africans partake in the governance of the project?
I think the governance of the project will come in the form of the standard token, and or the decentralized organ provider will be provided in that form of token as well. So that's why we're releasing the standard token first, even though we have the 3 tokens. But you guys have already learned at this point that the other 2 tokens are for minting and collateral. But standard is the representation of governance, and it'll be quite similar based on current technical developments to however Wi-Fi, Avi, Synthedex, all the top deep blue chips use their governance token. Yeah.
Oh, nice. And one more question from somebody called Shikwoyemi Kure. He said that Shikoyemi Kure is asking, many tokens lose value immediately after launch or listing. So there's this notion that immediately after the launch of the project, the token automatically drops from 5x, 50x, 10x down below. So this person called Shikoyemi Kure is asking, how do you intend to ensure that you don't lose a lot of the value? I believe value for this person might be price or something of that nature. So how do Standard Protocol intend to ensure that people don't lose the value of Standard Protocol is not lost? Because I know Meter is stable, so technically the price will always be pegged to $1. All right, but I know the governance token is what might go above $1 or whatever the case may be, depending on the number of X. So how do you intend to do that so that the token don't just lose its value? How do you intend to achieve that?
So, yeah, I mean, for starters, based on our internal token economics, I mean, we have pretty long vesting periods as a team members, which means we're incentivized to be in this for the long term, right? And we work very hard to engage with their KOLs and investors to really form long-term partnerships. And that's kind of why we've not given any certain allocation that represents a huge chunk. So it's really very distributed. The last 2 months have just been working on that economics model. And I think any project, right, if they tell you how they want to protect the price, those are actually all you can really control, is to protect your internal token economics ensure a relatively healthy vesting period, and definitely no rug pull. Because we know.
I think I like that.
So yeah, that's all we can really guarantee on our end in a fair and transparent manner.
Yeah, and like in order to
Okay.
keep adding value to standard protocol, we just got to keep moving forward. So as I said, we're not just going to stop at Polkadot chain. We're not just going to launch our app and just stay there. We're going to move on to other chains, and we're going to move on with a lot of partnerships. So we already have a made partnership with a bunch of companies, and also including banks. So we'll keep moving forward, and that's where the value of standard protocol will really come and keep rising.
Okay. Okay, so now I'll pick the last lucky person. This person is called Michi Aimorio. So Michi Aimorio is our last lucky person. This is from YouTube. I've left the Facebook community. I'm back to YouTube, right? So this person from Michi Aimorio said, with your IDO coming up tomorrow, all right? So IDO is tomorrow, April 29, in case you don't know, all right? She seemed to have experienced some project on Polkadot having tech issues during IDO. I don't know how true this is anyway, but however, how are you working to ensure minimal tech issues and seamless experience so that we don't talk about the hype and buzz of what standard protocol will be doing in the IDO? So how are you guys working to ensure this? Because for her, she probably said she had experienced once in a while some technical issues. We are hoping that this don't happen. So how are you guys working to ensure this don't happen tomorrow?
So technical issues. So really, I guess the technical issues that could arise. Let me think about the potential technical issues. So one could be maybe gas price. So for public, so when you go on IDO on Polkastarter, you use ETH to do the transaction. Now, Polkastarter on their end has a mechanism to safeguard high gas price. So if you put too much high gas price, it'll not go through. So like Polkastarter has told us that as long as the person goes with fast gas price suggested on MetaMask, one should be fine. And other than that, we have did everything on our end so that we don't have any problems. So like so far there hasn't been any problems at all. The only thing left is the IDO, the actual pull tomorrow. All the process is very good. It's good to go. We'll soon be announcing the whitelist winners as well. And yeah, so there isn't likely to be a problem. If there is, that'll be out of our hand. So it'll be on Polkastarter.
Yeah.
It'll be on the Ethereum network. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Marsh. Thank you so much, Billy, for the opportunity. And to all our lucky winners, actually, you'll be reached out to. Of course, your detail are quite here. I'll reach out to you via Facebook. I'll reach out to you via the link on YouTube for you to for us to get your MetaMask wallet, or for us to get the multi-signatory kind of wallet to enable you hold or store the $100 worth of standard protocol later on. So if you're just joining us, this will be a wrap for us for the entire program. And to the 13 lucky winners from here, both between YouTube and Facebook community, courtesy of the various platforms of Crypto Television Plus, all right? And to also the 13 lucky winners from the East African community as well. In the earlier session, that makes it a total of 26 lucky winners of $100 each. In total, it means it's $2,600 worth of giveaways, all in standard protocol token. Hopefully you guys can come together and become a validator by staking that together for future benefits for the entire communities. But of course, we'll be creating a Telegram community for Standard Protocol Africa to follow up with the project and development. I really appreciate you guys for the work done, and I really thank you all. Crypto TV, thank you, and a big shout out to you, to Crypto TV Plus. For those of us listening, there is something coming up also on Crypto TV Plus around Enaton. Please do follow up with that. You'll be hearing more from us later because I'm actually gunning for that particular one too. All right, so My Twitter handles has always been LUO2027 on Twitter. Marsh, do you want Africans to follow you? This is an opportunity for you to tell them your Twitter handle or your social media handle. Billy, this is an opportunity for you to also tell them same.
Standard.tech, baby. Here we go. Standard DeFi is our Twitter chat. Or all right, so just go on Twitter. DeFi, baby. You'll see it. And our website is standard.tech. We got like 60,000 followers.
All right. So
join our revolution. Join it. Yeah, we can't wait to have you guys.
So a standard DeFi is the Twitter handle. Absolutely. So a standard DeFi is a Twitter handle for standard. Billy.
It is our accurate.
Any last words? We'll be calling the wrap here.
Yeah, join the Telegram community too, and follow our blog. So it's blog.standard.tech. It's same thing as standard.tech. Just put blog in front of it.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Lucky.
All right.
Thank you, Africa.
So blog@standard.tech. Yeah, blog@standard.tech is the opportunity. So for us in the Nigerian community, earlier I said in East Africa, we say asante. That's how we say thank you and to people from East Africa. But here now we're within the west part of Africa. I don't know which language. But now in Nigeria, we don't use asante anymore. So we'll be using... So now in Nigeria, we don't use asante. We'll be using the three main languages. All right,
Chinese
we'll be using the three main languages. Don't mind me. I might. Okay, but however, in Nigeria, we'll be saying. Cool. So, but in Nigeria, we'll be saying emailer, which is thank you. In Igbo, emailer, and in Hausa, we'll be saying nagode. And in Yoruba, we'll be saying Esheun. So thanks to you all for listening. It's a pleasure. And I love you guys. So follow us up on the various social media handle. Get to watch more of the videos and the project. Tomorrow is the IDO live for Standard Protocol 1 UTC. Follow it up and see what the progress is like. They'll be coming up on major exchanges coming soon, both within the local continent in Africa and also in other exchanges outside Africa. Follow the project, follow the development. Wonderful. I really love you all, and it's a wrap.
I love you guys.
From the King of DeFi, Lucky Wakwe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Imela Lagode, and I forgot the last one. Bye-bye.
Hi, this is Cynthia Petian with AWS Mining.
I'm Alexia Hefty-Rossier.
I'm Anand Mohan from Technobrain.
This is Anu Bardwaj from Women Investing, Women Digital.
And you are watching...
You're watching
Crypto TV Plus.
Crypto TV Plus.
Crypto TV Plus.
Crypto TV Plus. Stay tuned.